Today we are going to talk about a Dutch painter named Piet Mondrian. He was an abstract artist who used simple geometric shapes with non-representational images. This means that his art did not represent people, trees, cats, or dogs. Instead, he painted to explore composition or the arrangement of objects on the page. Eventually, Mondrian limited his colors to just three primary colors: red, yellow, and blue. He also limited his lines to just vertical and horizontal lines. This piece, we see some new shapes: circle and a triangle. And here is a dress made by Yves Saint Laurent in 1966 that definitely repeats the images of Mondrian. How do you like this Mondrian tie? And I think this is my favorite. I would love to have a pair of Mondrian sneakers. And this one just makes me laugh. Here's a Mondrian car, Mondrian luggage on top of the car, and look at the lady has a Mondrian purse and she's wearing a Mondrian coat. This is fabulous. So for our lesson, we're going to trace around a square piece of cardboard. If you have a small piece of paper, use a small piece of cardboard. If you have a large piece of paper, use a large piece of cardboard. So to start our Mondrian project, we're going to take a piece of cardboard that is a square, and we're going to trace around it with a black crayon. We're going to trace it 8 times. Remember, tracing's not easy. You have to hold the square down tight with one hand while you slowly work around the edges with the other hand. Don't move your hand yet. Sneak your arm under there so that you can complete the square. That's 1. Now, we want to do it so they overlap. We don't want the next one to be right next to it. We're going to overlap the first one. And look, it can even go off the paper. So if I hold this down real tight, I can trace around that square. There's 2. If I hold it down real tight here, I can trace around the square, and that's 3. Remember, we said 8 times. Now, to keep in the Mondrian style, we want our lines to be vertical and we want them to be horizontal. So try not to trace it sideways. Keep it nice and straight, overlap, and trace around your square. Remember also your composition. Don't put all of them in the same place. Let's spread them out all over the paper. Maybe I'll move this one over a little bit. Trace around. Are you counting? That's 5. This one's going to overlap 2 squares. There's 6. And my paper looks a little blank up at the top, so maybe we'll do some up here. There's 7. And how about one right here? 8. All right, and there you go. This is going to be the framework for our Mondrian type picture. Give that a try. Now for the last part, remember Mondrian really focused in on the primary colors: yellow, blue, and red. So we're going to use those in our work also. First color we're going to use, any of them, and you're going to color squares and rectangles. So see if you can find squares and rectangles in your picture. This shape is not a square and it's not a rectangle, but this shape is a rectangle. So we're going to color it in. Remember, we color the edges first to outline and along the edges so it's nice and smooth, and then we can color in the middle. And this will give us some clean edges all around the edge. So try to find 3 rectangles or squares and color those in red. There we go. I have some big, some smaller, and I spread them throughout the composition for a little bit of balance. Now I'm going to do the same thing with yellow. Find 3 yellow squares or rectangles and let's color them in. There we go. Now I have 3 yellow. So remember the last primary color is blue. So I'm going to try 3 blue squares or rectangles. Try to balance them around your composition. And there's 3 blue. So now we have a very Mondrian type composition. You could color a couple more if you would like to, or you can leave it just this way. I can't wait to see what you come up with. And let me know if you find those Mondrian sneakers.